About to witness a session about a boy named Daniel. Daniel has given us a tremendous gift by having a willingness to do this session in a way that will be seen by thousands of people. The session concerns phenomena that are not typically seen as real or normal in Western culture. Specifically, the story revolves around someone being identified as extraterrestrial. There are several ways that we can understand this story. Perhaps the least important is whether it's literally true or not. And what is most important there is what Daniel himself believes about that story. A whole other way, and a more significant way to understand the story, is symbolically or metaphorically. We can open to it like it's a dream, or a personal myth, or for those of us that are in the field of psychology, like play therapy. In any case, we might understand it more from this perspective as a message from the soul. Clearly, the person who would be the best one to understand this would be Daniel himself. As you're listening to his story, I invite you to open it as though the symbols are trying to reveal something on perhaps a much deeper level than the literal. If I totally tune into Daniel, like I take him into my mind's eye and into my heart and into my body, and I were to say, if this were my story, what would soul be trying to reveal to me? And if you open to it in this way, the spider, the web, the bridge, and many of the other symbols may take on very significant meaning. Perhaps a third way to understand the story might be what we might call spiritual. From this perspective, we might ask the question, what is going on for Daniel, and how might that be related to what is going on in our collective? Because as we found out early in this session, this story wasn't just Daniel's story, it was also a story that was meaningful for all of us. So we might ask the question, what is his symptom trying to share with us, not just about him, but about all of us? What are we collectively trying to heal? And from this perspective, we might ask, what is Daniel's role in that collective? We might ask the question, what part is he playing in his own story and also in a much larger story? What we might most focus on is the lesson that he learned in the end. This lesson about how important is it to be normal? Or what might it be like if we say, I don't want to be normal. I want to be something else. From this perspective, we might ask, what is it like to feel different? And then to say, maybe I have a role to play that is my own unique role that may not be a typical role in the world. So I invite you to open to this session on all of these different levels. And as you keep your heart open and your mind open, to listen with a third ear, to watch with a third eye, and to open to all of what this remarkable young man has come to share with us. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the work.
Hello, Dr. Andy Hahn. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's lovely, lovely to be back here again with you.
Well, we are very excited that you are going to show us a demonstration on an actual patient. And it's so cool that you can do it remotely, that you don't have to have the person standing right in front of you.
That's a true thing. It's a good thing that we can do it anywhere in the universe, theoretically.
Well, first I want to start out with our patient is Daniel, and his mom's name is Tiffany, and I'm going to have her start out. All right, I will get out of the chair and let Tiffany sit here for just a minute.
Beautiful, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Hi, Dr. Hahn. Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Come sit here. And here's Daniel.
Good to see you too. Do you like Daniel or Dan? You like Daniel?
Yes, sir.
Daniel it is. Go ahead, you guys.
Thank you so much. When Elisa contacted me, well, at first I'd heard your first interview and always just so impressed at the work you do. And when she said, would you be interested in having Dr. Hahn talk to Daniel? I was like, yes, of course, that's a no-brainer. So you want to tell a little bit about yourself? Tell us your name.
Oh yeah, my name is Daniel.
And how old are you?
That was a good question. I like easy questions to start with.
Yeah.
And how old are you?
12.
He's 12.
Yeah.
And Daniel is amazing. He's dynamic. He's funny. He's just smart as a whip, and he loves animals and video games. But he's also dealing with a pretty difficult genetic condition called
FOP,
which stands for
fibrodysplasia ossificans progressiva.
Yeah, it's a big long Latin name. And do you want to say what that does? What that is?
It basically means fiber displaces and ossifies progressively.
Yeah, so when Daniel's immune system, sometimes spontaneously and sometimes because of an injury or a fall, his immune system thinks it needs to go turn his muscles, ligaments, and tendons into bone. Right. So it's called a flare-up. Sometimes it's unpredictable, but in children it usually starts in the back, neck, and shoulders. So can you show him he's had some, we discovered this when he was about 6, when all the muscles in his shoulders ossified, and so it's limited your range of motion where the arms don't move, and he's got a chunk in his right hip when he had a fall, and it's restricted the rib cage quite a bit. And in many ways he's just brightly and healthy and typical and amazing, but it's been a really difficult emotional challenge also, having, instead of gaining independence, he's sort of progressively losing the mobility and the independence that he's wanting, right? Mm-hmm. So we often are pretty upset. The flare-ups can be very painful when they happen. And right now we're in a clinical trial. It's the first time ever that there's been anything for this condition, because there's such a small number. There's only about 800 people in the world with this FOP. But we're very fortunate that we have an amazing community and dedicated research scientists who are funded to actually try to find a medication. But all it's doing is trying to slow the progress down. There's really no cure. So we've been, grateful that he's in good health. But this is something, if there's anything that you can find in his spiritual contract, in his energetic field that could be healed or helped, we're all open to hear that. Right?
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I have a lot of admiration for both of you. I can only imagine how much perseverance it takes to hang and not get to a place of despair. So I think you're real teachers to all of us, and I'm just feeling grateful actually to both of you, because I think it's really, it's a challenge for everybody, and it's a challenge, I'm sure, for your family. Do you have other children also, or?
I have a brother.
You're what?
I have a brother.
You have a brother, so I'm sure everybody is in this together, and I'm sure it's difficult. But having said that, I think we might be able to do something together, you and I, or the three of us, or everybody who's also watching this, because there's a lot of power. The more love you have, it's can do some things that are pretty remarkable. So let me ask you one question, and then I'm going to ask you another question, okay? So my only question I want to ask you, we've never met, so I'm going to do this kind of blind, except that I can see you, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But I think this should be fun a little bit, don't you? I mean, therapy should be, your healing should be kind of fun, even if it's serious, because I know this is very serious, but maybe we can also take some joy here.
Well, laughter is the best medicine. We believe that, for sure.
Yeah, well, the fact that you guys can laugh is great medicine for all of us, actually, I think.
He has a pretty wicked sense of humor, let me tell you.
Oh, he does.
Yeah. So, Daniel, I want to know one thing from you, okay, to start with, which is if you could have anything you desired from our work, anything, even if you weren't sure it was possible, what would you really intend? What would you really want to get from our time so you said, I got exactly what I wanted, in your own words? You tell me. I'm going to write it down because you're the expert.
Okay, I don't know. I guess I would just want a cure, FOP. I'm not really sure. Yeah.
You know, whenever I asked him, like, for Christmas, I was like, what do you want? He's like, a cure for FOP. I mean, that's kind of his, something to stop this progression.
Stop the progression? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you say get rid of it? I couldn't quite hear you, Tiffany. I'm sorry. What was, when you asked for Christmas?
A cure for FOP is his number one thing. And a cure meaning that the body stops going on this journey.
Yeah.
I mean, if I could wave a magic wand and eliminate all the bone that's already been formed, and he gets his mobility back to be able to play sports, because he has to be very careful with what he does, because any fall, he was hitting something with a bat yesterday, and now he's feeling a lot of pain behind his shoulder and his neck. And that has us worried that that could be the start of a flare-up.
Yeah.
So to have that freedom to just, you get normal bumps and bruises, but not have it permanently immobilize that joint would be, I think I'm putting into words what I'm feeling from you. That would be the freedom to be a kid and not worry that you're going to lose.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, I can imagine this has made you have to grow up very fast. So it's a hard thing. Do you know anything about what I do, Daniel? Anything at all?
Slightly, like the basics, but not like exactly what you do.
All right.
Well, like that you somehow like connect with the spirits and then like find if it's like in the past or something.
Yeah, that's kind of it. You know anything else?
Well, he knows about muscle testing. We've done quite a bit of, we call it ECR or NATE, where we use muscle testing to sort of talk to his energy field. So he's familiar with it. He's a little muscle testing. He's familiar with that he is living other incarnations, not just Daniel here right now. And that we have soul contracts or agreements that we sometimes come in to experience things as a person. But some of that can be changed. And you have a way of tuning into some of that etheric field and pulling down information and helping to manipulate it or adjust it. That's my understanding.
Well, I don't do that, but maybe we could do it together.
Right. For asking for
it sounds like you've been through a lot of things.
Yes.
You've been through a lot. Sounds like you know more about this than pretty much anybody I know, maybe even including me, about how to do healing work. And so that's impressive. I mean, so I think you're here for really some amazing stuff. I really do. Yeah. I'm going to tell you just very briefly, because some people may not know anything about what I do. So I'm going to tell you really a simple version, but I'm going to add a little bit that's going to be, I think, relevant for you that you may not have done before, okay? So I'm going to tell you what I believe. The first thing I believe is that anything we suffer about, so we can suffer about it and the things that come out of our suffering, right? So it's like, I think it's only one thing. And it's kind of what your mom was saying. It's a kind of contract. And I think it's an invitation to remember something that couldn't be handled. I think kind of everything energetic is that. So if you could handle everything, right? If you could just say yes to everything, you wouldn't have any problems. You might be sad, but you wouldn't have any problems because, at the end of the day, we're all going to die, right? So if you said, Andy, I want you to cure me, and curing me means I'll never die, I couldn't guarantee you that because I'm not God. But maybe what we could do is we could make it so that you wouldn't be anxious about dying, or you wouldn't have any judgments about dying. You just say it's part of life. Now, what I tell people is, if you stick with what we do long enough, I guarantee one of two things happens. Either the problem goes away, right? So it doesn't progress. In your case, the FOP wouldn't progress, or all of your anxiety about it or judgment about it or anything goes away. So you basically say it's sad, but it's not really a big deal. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir, yeah.
Okay, if you have any questions, you tell me, because you're the one who's really important here, okay? So I think all healing is mastering what couldn't be handled, okay? So if something happened, as you've had other lifetimes, and if something happened in another lifetime and you couldn't handle it, life keeps bringing you back like new opportunities to handle it, okay, until you've mastered it. You with me?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
You know a lot. All right, now I'm going to tell you the next part. When there's something you can't handle, it always does the same thing. It makes for a dense energy. So who I think you are, since you know about this stuff, I'll tell you who I think you are simply. I think you're just a free flow of energy. That's who you are. That's what I believe. Doesn't mean it's true. That's just what I believe. And when there's something you can't handle, the energy goes from being energy to matter. It becomes dense. And then you feel it as a kind of discomfort. So I think every time there's something you can't handle, in that moment is born some kind of discomfort, like a pain or a queasy feeling or a numb feeling or a tight feeling, okay? And I think every discomfort you have is simply something that couldn't be handled. Am I still doing okay?
Yeah.
So if you have a headache, I'd say the headache has come to share something with you. And if you're anxious about something, and I said, Daniel, when you're anxious, what do you feel in the body? And you said, oh, I'm feeling sick to my stomach. I would say sick to your stomach has come to share something with you. Except it's not sick to your stomach. Its name is sick to stomach. Like your name is Daniel, its name is headache. It's not my headache any more than you're my Daniel. So just like Daniel was born in a moment, the sensation was born in a moment where something couldn't be handled. You with me?
Yeah.
You're amazing. You must have taken a lot of courses on this stuff. So the simple thing we could do is this. If you could choose to become the thing that couldn't be handled, which is the discomfort, you go from being the one who's living out the story over and over and over again, like a contract, like your mom says, to the one who's sort of witnessing it or hosting it. You still with me? So you go from being the one who's like playing it out over and over and over again to the one who's saying, oh, I'm aware, I'm remembering that I'm playing something out over and over and over again. And then you go from being the one who plays it out to the one who's playing it out while simultaneously saying, oh, that's what's happening. And as soon as you can do that, you're free. Because then you'll just say, oh, this is a memory I'm having. It's not that I'm going to live it out over and over and over again. You with me?
Yeah.
And when you can do that for everything, you're called a realized being, or that's what kind of Christ is, right? When Christ says basically, you know what? I can handle the fact that they're crucifying me. I'm not mad about it anymore. I'm not screaming at God about it anymore as an exemplar. He just says, like, forgive them because they're blind. They don't understand what's going on. But they can't do anything to me because they think they're doing something to me, but really what they're doing is something to my body. But they're not doing anything to me because I'm free.
Okay.
Still good?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to tell you the other tricky thing with this, which is sometimes the thing you think is a problem, right, is kind of a symptom of a deeper problem that shows up as your problem. I'll give you an example of something I mean that I don't think is it, but I'll tell you what I mean. You okay?
Yep, we're just scooting chairs. You keep talking. There you go.
Okay. Do you know about myths? You know, like Greek myths? All right. Suppose in a do you ever heard about the myth Medusa?
Yeah.
Okay. Suppose in a past life you were Medusa. Or suppose in a past life you were Midas's daughter. And Midas's daughter, when Midas looked at his daughter, he said, I want to turn everything to gold because I really want gold. And so what he does is he looks at his daughter and he touches her and she becomes like gold, right? Now, suppose you were that daughter. You would then be, unless you could handle it, at which point you'd be quite a young woman, you would now be frozen because your father just turned you into a mineral, right? And let's suppose in this lifetime you were trying to remember that, you might begin to stop being flexible and start being rigid, but it would be a way to remember that in another lifetime your father turned you into minerals. Am I still doing good?
Yeah.
Did you take my course?
He's just really smart and very intuitive.
Okay. So then what would happen is the thing that would be going on here wouldn't be the problem, although it's a terrible problem. It would be kind of a manifestation of another lifetime where your father kind of put a curse on you by mistake, right?
Yeah.
And then you'd be trying to remember it by becoming kind of like his daughter from that other lifetime so you could remember what happened so you could handle it,
Yeah.
right? There's a word for that in my field, and I won't say what it is because it's not a very nice word, because we don't like it when we sort of remember by living it out, because then we get some kind of thing that we don't like our muscles turn to bone, right? But on a whole other soul level, you could say soul is trying to help you out, right? I'm trying to help you out and says the best way you can remember is something you are not going to like. Am I still doing okay?
Yeah.
Now, if we could take care of the original problem, one of two things would happen, right?
Yeah.
Either your body would stop turning to bone, or you'd say, there must be some other reason, but it's not bothering me so much. I'm not happy about it because I can't play sports, but it's like it's not making it's I can manage, I can master it. Now I'm going to tell you something else that makes things tricky. Okay? Some of the things you can find are a little bit unusual in our reality. Now, it's a really good thing we're on Elisa's program, because Elisa, she's like into channeling and mediums and psychics, right? So let's suppose, for example, you were from another dimension altogether, and you weren't really from this planet. Am I still talking language that makes sense to you or not?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So let's suppose you came from a planet where everybody was more like bone-like, and you came down here and said, this place is terrible. Like, why did I come here? I came here to try to help everybody out, and this place is nuts. And you didn't know what you were getting into, so you started to become like you were in the other dimension, right? That would be a possibility. Or let's suppose you were an angel, which you have a lot of that kind of energy, and some kind of terrible, catastrophe happened on a planet that you were trying to help out, and you said, oh boy, and they start cursing you and saying, why didn't you protect us? Rocks are falling on us. And you said, oh my God, I should have done it, as opposed to just holding them with love. Then you might want to know what it was like to feel like rocks were inside of you, right? Am I still doing okay?
Yeah.
So you could be from some other world altogether, And you wouldn't necessarily find that if you weren't looking for it, even if you did these regressions. Am I still making sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to tell you something else that's a little bit tricky, because all of these things I think are relevant for you. Sometimes people like hold stories and it's not just for themselves. I'll tell you what I mean. You're like a cell. Like we're all like cells, but some cells, they're like, they hold stories for other cells, right? So like you might be, you ever heard the term empath? Does that term mean something to you? An empath is somebody, if someone else is holding a story, you take on their pain for them and you try to help them heal. Now, you kind of, I think from my point of view, are kind of a natural born healer, but some people, they do that. And let's suppose you were trying to hold a story for what's happening in our whole world right now. And let's suppose the world right now is going from a place where there was a lot of flexibility to a lot of rigidity. And you were trying to help the world. You took on that pain. Sort of like, you know, how Christ sort of took on the sins of the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, let's suppose you're kind of a little bit like that. And you could say, you know what, my job is to take on the pain of the world and help it try to heal. And right now what's happening in the world is like it's going from being very fluid and flexible to being very solid, bone-like.
Yeah.
You might not know that, but you would start to take it on as a way to try to help the world heal it. Of course, you wouldn't know that. So sometimes the things we take on aren't just our own contracts, but they're our contracts in a much bigger context. I'm going to stop talking really soon, okay? So I just wanted to tell you all of that because we may find things that aren't going to be like what you might have found when you did other past life regressions, which were probably more personal.
Yeah, okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
I got you still. Cool. All right. So the only other thing I have to tell you about is muscle testing. Now, you've tried muscle testing, right?
Yes.
Has anyone ever muscle tested you from far away, or has it always been that they were touching you?
I don't.
Yeah, we've done remote and surrogate. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do it remotely. So what I think muscle testing does basically, I think what you probably think too, although most people don't think this, I think muscle testing is a way to access the wisdom that you could call your higher self or soul or whatever. I think that's what's going on. You understand?
Yeah.
And the reason I think that you can do it remotely is that it's like if I tune into you, everything is happening simultaneously. So I can ask to sort of be you because we're all one on one level. On one level, we're all separate, but on another level, it's like each of us is everything. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So what I do is I just muscle test and I ask to focus on you so much that it's like I'm muscle testing you. And then we will become a team, but I'll just muscle test you from over here. Okay?
Yeah.
That is my whole story. Do you have anything you want to ask me or share with me or anything before we shift?
No. Nothing.
Cool.
Nothing.
Then we're going to start to work together. And we've got Elisa here at least for a little while. And we have your mother here. And we have all the people who are watching this ever. And I have a feeling that they're going to send you a lot of love. But I also think that you're doing a lot for them. So I think you're giving them a gift. And just doing this healing work for them is actually giving them a real gift. More than maybe even you know, although you may be such a wise being that you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, it's a pleasure, okay? So what I'm going to invite us to do right now is just take a moment and we're going to just shift. So we're just going to choose, because I've been talking a lot and, you know, hopefully we've learned that in our minds, but also in our hearts and in our bodies. So we've got it and all of us have got it. So we're just going to pause and shift and rest into what we might call the divinity of life, whatever that is for you. So it's like we're resting into this, that is the divinity of life itself. And all that are here for help and health, which there's a lot that's here for help and health. So it's like that which sort of is holding us with an open hand in a healing way. And we're going to just open to the wisdom that's here, and the understanding and the compassion and the engagement with those that are always here with us, even sometimes when we don't remember. They're always here, even if we forget. And as we do that, we're just going to breathe, and we're going to ground ourselves, and we're going to ground ourselves just by experiencing ourselves rooting all the way down. So we're just rooting down into the earth, and then it's like we're doing the earth a favor, because it's like when you have roots, it's like holding the earth, and then the earth will send energy back up to us. So we're really rooted. And as we do that, it's like we can bring our attention down from the lowest part we could, that we're breathing right into the center of chest. And it's just like, I want to invite you to open to the center of the chest, which is really the heart, as you know. And then if there's anything more you want to ask for, or anything more you want to share before we shift, be my guest. If there's anything more you say, oh, I want this, or anything more that feels important to share, you tell me, and otherwise we'll just shift and we'll stop. You tell me.
No, there's not anything else now.
Good. So I'm going to start muscle testing. I'm going to do it in a way you can hopefully see. So the easiest way for me to do that is when I say give me a yes, my body naturally goes forward. So that's how I can muscle test in a lot of ways, but you can see it because I'll just go like this naturally. When I say give me a no, my body will just go backwards, okay? And I'm not doing that. It just sort of does itself. So we're going to say give us a yes, give us a no, give us a yes. And then we're going to ask, are we fully in healing presence? And we are going to be. But healing presence is that which just holds us like that. And are we simply balanced? And that says yes also. And that just means our bodies are ready to do the work. We're hydrated and a lot of other things. And are we fully checked in? And that says yes. And that means you've shared everything that I need to know so I can be of service here. That's what fully checked in means. You've said everything you need to. And if you fall asleep, it's okay as long as you tell me what your dreams are.
Okay.
That was the joke. Okay? So we're going to find out what we're going to do. So we're going to say, the one we call Daniel, that's you. Do you know the very best way to proceed? And we ask you. And that says no. Well, that's not a big surprise, because if you knew the best way to proceed, you just say, I've handled everything, and oh, it's fine. So I'm going to find out. So we're going to do healing work. We're going to do what I would call a standard balance. Is there anything else? So a standard balance just means something is not in balance. That means you're suffering some about what's happening to you still. Even if you, most of the time, you can just say, I can say yes to everything, and sometimes you can't. Okay, that's all it means. Something's out of balance that wants to come back into balance. So let's find out what it is, okay? So you have a highest intention, is that we're to do? Yes. So your highest intention is it any, some, or all of what you've said. And it says it is, and you only said one thing, really, which is that you want this, you want the FOP to either stop the progression or go away. So it says it's one of those things. And I don't have to distinguish. So it's about something about doing healing work on the FOP, which means either it goes away, or whatever final things there are about it that you can't handle, eventually you're going to be able to handle. Okay? You'll master it. Is it worded exactly correctly? Yes. Do we have to refine it? No. Do we have 100% permission? Yes. Is there anything else we need to do in that part? No. All right. We're going to work on it directly? No. Does it have the structure of a pattern or patterns? Yes. Are there any patterns on it? So we need a clue. It says just knowing that it's FOP isn't enough. We need to get a clue about what's going on. Like when I told you about curses or terrible deaths or something, it says you need another clue, so we're going to find out what it is, okay? So let's find out. Is it one pattern made up of one? Nope. Is it one made up of more than one? No. Is it more than one? Yes. All right, how many is it? We get to the right answer, I'm going to go back. One, nope, two. Two patterns. So it says your FOP, the thing we're starting off with in terms of healing your FOP, it says is we need two clues about what they are. So let's see if they want them to do both at the same time, or if we want to find one at a time. Okay, so let's find out. All right, you want me to find them both now? Nope. You want me to find one now? So what that says is the FOP and what's ever going on with you, it equals some kind of universal pattern like betrayal or a curse or something. And I'm going to find out what it is, okay? So, all right, from that one, we're looking for one pattern made up of one. Are we looking for a standard life-centered therapy pattern? Are we looking for any other kind of pattern? No. So it's something I know. That's good. So it's like a myth. We're going to find out what the myth is that your FOP is, okay? So is it single center? No. Is it major energetic? Yes. Is it identity? No. So it's a major energetic pattern. Major energetic pattern, is it in the material realms? No. Is it in the non-material realms? Yes. So I'll tell you what that means, okay? Because you probably like to know this stuff. Is that true? Or do you want me not to explain it to you? Would you like me to explain it to you? You do it? Well, remember I told you about, like, if Midas looked at his daughter, and he sort of cursed his daughter. Well, she would then believe things that she would know weren't true, like love equals being turned into a mineral, right? That's what she would believe. But she would know on a deeper level that love is meaning something else than being turned into stone.
Yeah.
Or Medusa. It would mean that she wouldn't let herself feel some feeling, like she might not let herself feel sadness or anger or something. And it means that she doesn't get to choose, she doesn't get to run her life. She has a boundary problem, so she can't stop. She doesn't get to choose what goes in and what comes out. She's like, someone else can affect her too much, okay? And it's around some pattern, and we also know that this pattern isn't what most people in the West believe. It's not like a story of somebody hit you or they went away from you or something. It's going to be a little bit of a weirder story that most people wouldn't think is literally true. Now, it doesn't matter if you think it's literally true or not. All we want to know is if it's useful for your healing, okay? You still with me?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to find out what it is. If that's the right answer, we're going to go backwards. Entity. So it's not an entity. Ghost. It's not a ghost. Curse. It's not a curse. Superimposition. It's not a superimposition. ET. It's an ET pattern. You know what ET means?
Extraterrestrial?
Yes, it means extraterrestrial. So what that says is part of your FOP is some kind of something that couldn't be handled, that has something to do with beings that aren't on this dimension. It could be literal extraterrestrials like little green women, or it could be gods or goddesses, or it could be a fallen angel or something. But what we know is there was some kind of trauma, and it was not something about just human beings and not just something in this dimension, okay? Still with me? Now, there are a lot of kinds of extraterrestrial stories. So one of them is somebody comes down and they do an experiment on you and it goes bad, and suddenly you're having all these problems, right? And that would be sort of like an abduction story. But and sometimes other beings walk inside of you and you can't handle it. Or sometimes you're the extraterrestrial and, something happened and things got screwed up, okay? All I know so far is that one part of your FOP has something to do with something that couldn't be handled around extraterrestrials. You still with me?
Yeah.
Good. We have to do it as an induction. Shall I find out which variation? Okay, in this story, okay, so here's the next thing. In this story, you're not going to be human. Okay, you're going to be someone from someplace else. Okay, that's all I know so far. And something happened to you, probably it's usually, well, I'm not going to find out. So it could be something that happened to you coming here, or it could be that when you came here, you said, this is what I had signed up for. It could be something. It says you're not going to need any other clues, except that we're going to drop you into the experience of being extraterrestrial and your FOP, okay?
Yeah.
You're amazing. Okay, so, all right, so you want me to know anything else? All right, so that's all they want us to know. So the first thing we know is there's something that couldn't be handled. There's something that's creating suffering around you being not from this world, and it's playing out in this world. That's what I know so far, okay? And is there anything else you want us to know? That's the only clue you need so far, and we have 100% permission to do that. So are we just to balance it in the here and now? We're going to balance it where it originates. We're looking for one point of origin and one narrative. So we have to find out the place that you have the most, that is the best place to work, is the moment it happened, okay? So I'm going to find out when this happened, probably. So let's find out if it happened to you, all right? So it originated in your lifetime. Well, it didn't happen to you. So this is going to be like going on a regression, kind of, except for the fact that you're not going to be a human being, apparently. That's the only thing they want you.
Oh, sometimes does that.
Okay, we froze for a minute.
Well, you see, life is doing to us right now what's happening to you. Everything froze, right? It all turned rigid. So isn't that a really great thing? So it's happening right now, kind of. Actually, that's true. Okay, so it's extra. So we're going to find out more. So it originated in what we call a past life. Yes. Is it karmic? Yes. Is it genealogical? No. So it's not your bloodline. It's not something that came through your family tree. Soul can come through blood, but in your case, it's going to be like you could be anything. We already know that because you're not even going to be doing it. Should we find out anything else about when it took place or where it took place, like, you know, what dimension or anything? Where, who, what, when, where, why, or how? No. So you don't need any more clues, except it's not going to be a story about you, but you already know that because in this lifetime you look human. And in that lifetime, you apparently weren't. So you're living out something from another lifetime where you were something other than human. That's what we know. That's all the clues you need. Now, you've done regressions before, I gather. Is that true?
I've done, yeah, like one.
Did they do it through kind of hypnosis or trance?
It was hypnosis, and he actually fell asleep, but then he told us about the dream that he had while he was under hypnosis, which was...
Yeah. Well, if you fall asleep again, it's okay, but I'm going to see if that's the best way to do it, because most people think there's a way that's a little bit more powerful and simple for them. So should we do it through trance or hypnosis? No. Should we do it through a body sensation? So do you remember when I told you when there's something that can't be handled, a body sensation is born in that moment? A pain or a queasiness or something? So we're not going to do hypnosis. You're going to become who this is by becoming the body sensation, okay? And then whatever you say to me is going to be it. So it's a little bit simpler. And it's happening right now, so you don't have to regress any place because it's here right now, which is nice, okay? So we're going to get there through a sensation, yes. Do we do anything to deepen, amplify? Nope. Any of the setup questions or transpersonal questions? No. So this is just going to be your story. And you can do it any way you want. Let's find out. Are there any practices defined now? No. Is it fully available? Yes. So that means someone else is here. And the way you're going to know them is if you focus on FOP and focus on being an alien, because we know on some level you're extraterrestrial. If you do that right now, if it helps, you can close your eyes, but if not, you want to sort of gaze inside, you ought to be feeling some kind of sensation because somebody can't handle something, some being can't handle something, and they're here right now. And if you focus on the FOP and being them, you might feel a pain or a tightness or a queasy feeling or a numb feeling. So I just want you to scan your body and tell me what you're noticing in the body.
My stomach kind of hurts.
Anything else, or is your attention really going there? I know stomach hurts. Anything else?
No.
All right. That's it. Now, so someone else is here, and their name is Stomach Hurts. So what I want you to do is bring all your attention to Stomach Hurts. That's their name. And we're going to start asking them questions. So focus. What you want to do is focus all your attention on Stomach Hurts. It's like until It's like bring all your awareness there and focus there until it's like you're going to be stomach hurts and you're going to be somebody else. So we're going to say stomach hurts, whoever you are. What have you come to share with us about FOP and some kind of something that couldn't be handled as some kind of alien, some kind of extraterrestrial? Now you be stomach hurts and you might become someone or some being whose stomach is hurting, or images might come to you like the dreams, or just you know. And so we're going to say, stomach hurts, what have you come to share? What's happening? Where are you beginning? And you just report like whatever you're experiencing, like you're the character in the play, or if you're seeing something like you're a character in a movie, or just whatever's coming to you like you're reading a book. You just report like being stomach hurts. Just talk with us. What's happening to you? Where is this beginning? And what have you come to share with us? And you just report. Keep all your focus here, because actually you're in a good place. So just talk with us. Stomach hurts. What's happening to you? If it helps, close your eyes, but keep your attention down and in. And just be stomach hurts. And stomach hurts, just talk with us. What's happening to you? Where are you beginning? What have you come to share with us? Just like it's making you up. Just like your dream.
I can like feel something, but I don't know what it is.
I couldn't quite hear you. What was the first thing you said?
I feel something, but I don't know like really what it is. I like feel something. Like my body was tingling.
Yep, that's it. That's it. You're being them now. I feel something and I don't know what it is. That's not you, that's them. My body's tingling is them. Just stay with it. You're doing great. That's right. I feel something. I don't know what it is. My body's tingling. Just, you got it exactly right. You're in the right place. Just stay with it. And stay with it. Stay down. It helps keep your eyes closed because you're in the right place at Muscle Test Strong. I'm feeling something. I don't know what it is. My body's tingling. You got that right. What's next? Just keep talking with us.
It was like happiness. I don't really know.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Something to do with happiness.
That's right. It's something to do with happiness. Stay with it. Just be them and you will know. Oh, there's something to do with happiness. Something's going on to do with happiness and I don't really know what it is. That's not you, that's them. Just stay with it. Just keep focused here. You're doing great. All your focus, just keep reporting. If it helps, keep your eyes closed, but you're doing great. Just stay with it. There's something to do with happiness, and I don't really know what it is. That's right.
I don't know. I can see like a spider. I don't know.
I'm sorry, say it again.
I see like a spider. Like in my eyes.
Yep, that's right. That Muscle Test Strong. Trust what's coming to you because it's all muscle testing strong. You're kind of, it's like you feel like a spider. That's right. Stay with that. Just trust it. You're exactly in the right place. It's all muscle testing really strong. You're feeling like a spider and
That's something to do with like the web of the spider.
Yep. Stay with it. If it helps keep your eyes closed, just keep going. You got it right. That muscle test's right. You're doing great. Feel like a spider, and there's the web of the spider, and just stay with it. Keep your focus and just keep reporting. You're doing wonderfully. And
Like some, I don't really know, but I guess like feel like it's like the web is catching something.
yeah, and the web's catching something. That's right. That muscle test. Just stay with it. You can trust what's coming to you. It's all strong. If it helps keep your eyes closed. Spider, there's a web, and the web is catching something. That's right. You're exactly in the right place also. Just stay with it.
Now I see like a bunch of pigeons, or not pigeons, doves.
That's right. You're seeing a bunch of doves. That's right. Keep your focus right there. Stay with whatever's left of hurting stomach. And you're seeing a bunch of doves. That's right. And
They're like falling, one after another.
that's right. Stay with it. If it helps, just you're doing great. Just keep your focus all down there. There are a bunch of doves and they're all falling. That's right. You're still in the right place. And what's next?
They're like, I don't really know, but they're like falling into the spider's web.
That's right. They're falling into the spider's web. That's right. You got it right. They're falling into the spider's web. There's more. And what's next?
The spider, like, it keeps trying to get them, but then, like, I guess, like, it can't get to them.
Yep. Yep. That's right. The spider's trying to get to them, but it can't get to them. That's right. You got it exactly right. Just stay with it. You're doing great. Keep your attention there. Just keep going. Stay with your story. You got it right. And I think this is actually going to make some sense, but you have to keep going. There's more.
There's, like, something coming, but I can't tell what it is.
Just stay with it. There's something coming. That's right. There's something coming and you can't tell what it is. That's not you. That's whoever this is. There's something coming and you can't tell what it is. That's right.
I can see it, but I don't know what it is.
That's right.
I don't know what it is.
Stay with that. Something's coming. You see it, but you don't know what it is.
Like
That's
a
right.
star or something.
Say like a star?
Yeah.
Yep. That's right. It's like a star or something. Stay with that. Stay with that. It's like a star. That's right. It's okay.
Something about it's a star eating everything, like the webs. the spider, the pigeon.
Mm-hmm.
Always. Yeah.
And it's eating everything. That's right.
Yeah.
There's still more. Stay with it. You got it right. That's right.
The star just like changed shape, but I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. The star's not changing shape, but whoever you are, you don't know what it is. That's right, but it's eating everything. Stay with that. You're doing great. Just keep your focused in your body and just keep talking with us. Keep sharing your story.
No, I just see like a spider on a pole and it's like shriveling.
Yeah. 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 Hmm. Just stay with it. It's really quite a story. There's still more. You're in the right place still. Doing great.
I don't see anything.
Hmm. Stay with that. That's whoever you are in the story. You're now, the spider is shriveling up on that pole, and now I don't see anything. There's still something more. Just stay with it.
No, I see like a waterfall or river or something. And that star is like going down it.
Yeah.
Keeps like going from the top down and it like keeps on repeating.
Yep. Yep. That star that was eating everything is now going down that waterfall. It's going down and it keeps repeating.
Something just like took it out the water. I don't know what it is. Like at all.
Something took it out of the water, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Something took it out of the water and you don't know what it is. Uh-huh.
And now for some reason that looks like a dove.
And now it looks like a dove. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The star or what?
Thing that took it out.
Oh, the thing that took the star out. Okay.
Yeah.
The thing that took the star out looks like a dove.
Yeah. Just ate this star.
What'd you say?
It ate the star. And
The dove ate the star.
now I don't see any.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't hear. I'm sorry.
I just asked him how his stomach felt, and he said it hurts.
Stay with it. There's 2 layers to what's going on in your stomach, but there's still a little bit more with this. But I think you're almost home, and then we're going to do something. But there's still a little more. The dove ate the star, and now you don't see anything, and now what?
There's like a frog and there's a bridge of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
Bridge is like crossing between like 2 like planets or something.
Mm-hmm.
Frogs is like jumping on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The bridge just broke.
The bridge broke.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Frog still hopping.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's a clock.
I'm sorry. What did you say, Daniel?
No, there's like a clock.
A clock.
What about a clock?
A clock ticking.
Mm-hmm. You got this exactly right. I think you're going to see this makes sense. See if you can find the rest. Is your stomach still hurting?
Yeah.
Bring your attention back there, and there's more it wants to share.
Something that has to do with like a key.
Yeah.
Like,
You'll know what it is. Trust it. You're doing great. There's something that has to do with the key. Now you'll know what it is.
so the key has something to do with like the planet.
Yep. Yep.
Think planet's like Saturn, I think.
Focus on your stomach. You'll know.
Now I see like fire.
You see.
Fire and like people talking. They're not human.
Really focus. You'll know.
I don't know.
All your attention on your stomach. Like you are stomach pain, whatever's left, because there's more, a little more it wants to share. And then I think we can do something for it. I'm sorry to make you do this so long.
Something to do with like a little capsule.
Focus.
I think it has to do with my medicine.
It does have to do with medicine. That's right.
Think so.
Yeah. Trust what you know. You're doing great. There's a capsule and it has to do with medicine. That's right.
Think it's my clinical trials.
Uh-huh. Stay with that. And you're going to know.
Now I just see the capsule burning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has to do with, there's a capsule and it has to do with your clinical trials, and you're seeing the capsule burning. That's right. And just keep talking. You're doing great. Just keep reporting. Trust it. Just keep sharing whatever's coming to you, even if it doesn't make sense.
Now everything just like went black.
Just allow all the blackness and just be receptive to whatever's happening next. Everything's gone black. Everything went black.
I don't see anything.
Yeah. All right. I think I have an idea for you, but I'm going to check. Let's see if there's more story, okay? And then I think, well, this will make some sense, but I think whoever this is that is transforming, they may need something. So let's find out. You're exactly in the right place. That's really strong. Let's find out. Is there more story? Is there more story? No. Have you got the whole story? Yes. Let's see if they need to practice. Can we find that out? Right question? Yeah. They need to practice? Yes. One made up of one? Yes. More than one? Nope. All right, let's find out. Do you find it? No. Do I find it? Yes. Does your mom or Elisa find it? No. So I have to find it? Yes. Do I find it intuitively? No. Do I find it on a list? Yes. All right, let's find out. Is it the very best thing? Is it on the old menu 1 through 12? Yes. Is it on the old menu 1 through 6? No. 7 through 12? 7, 8, 9. Okay. You want the pose? No. You want the hands on the heart? Yes. You want the pose. You want to focus on his stomach pain, the blackness, and just put his hands very lovingly here, and we'll all just focus on that. Yes. Do you want us to do anything with the acupressure? No. All right, Daniel, here's what I want you to do. I want you to focus on whatever's left of your stomach pain, like you're going to send it loving energy. And I want you to put your hands very lovingly here. Can you do that? Right there, a little further down.
That's just, they don't bend that far, so.
He did great. He's right in the right place. Perfect. And we're all going to do that with you. And all you need to do is focus on stomach ache, whatever's left of it, and everything went black, and focus here and tell us what's happening next.
My stomach doesn't hurt anymore.
Yeah. All right, close your eyes. Your stomach's not hurting anymore. What are you seeing and what's it feel like?
I see a couch.
What?
I see a couch.
He says he sees a couch.
Use a couch.
A couch, yeah.
It's a good thing to see. And See a couch and?
That's all I see.
Uh-huh. And how are you feeling as you see the couch?
I don't know, like tired.
All right, let me see something, okay? Let's see if you completed the story and the practice. Yes, or did you? Yes. You got the whole story? Yes. You've completed the practice? Yes. Let's see if they want us to make connections yet. Do you? No. We find out if it's balanced? Yes. You balance the original part of this intention 100% on all levels? Yes. Shall we check levels? No. Shall we check the intention? No. Shall we check your field? All right, tell me what's happened to stomachache. Is it still gone or are you noticing any?
It's gone.
Gone. That's called a really good thing.
Yes, sir. It is a good thing.
A really good thing. We could spend a long time with your story. I actually think your story makes some kind of very interesting sense to me, but I'm not sure that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to find out. All right, let's find out if they want us to learn anything else. Are there any lessons to learn? Yeah, you want us to find them now? You want me to find out how many or who they come through? You want me to find out how many? Yeah. You want me to find out who they come through? All right, is there one made up of one? Is there more? All right, you find it. Yeah, I find it. No, then I'm going to talk later. Anyone else? Okay. This is going to sound funny, but you've learned some kind of lesson in this whole story. So why don't you just tune in to the part of you that just knows and tell us whatever lesson you've learned. And tell me whatever comes to you. Just focus on the fact that your stomach isn't hurting, which is a good thing, and just see what comes to you about what you've learned today. Even if it makes no sense.
Being normal isn't a good thing.
Did you say being normal is not a good thing?
I just heard him say that, yeah. How does that feel to say that? Because that's the opposite of what you usually say, right?
Oh no.
Does that make you sad?
No.
Yeah. Man, you nailed it. Being normal is not a good thing. Say more about that. It's going to take us to the next one. All right, ask a whole bunch of questions to make sure you've got this, and then you could live with something that I just think changed for you. Plus, you're knowing that being normal is not a good thing. Okay? So I asked like 12 questions. We don't have to ask any of them because I nearly fell off my chair. All right, do we have to affirm this? Nope. He's really got that being normal is not a good thing. All right. And does he have to affirm anything else? So every part of him is on board. Cool. Deepest wisdom, highest guidance, source, anything more for this one's healing transformation and highest good, for the one in that story, and for all, including all life, and including the ones he's kind of been here to like transform anything. Nope. So is the work on this complete? Yes. Is it done? Yes. Should we do something else now? No. So is our work complete for now? We're done for now. I think you did an extraordinary piece of work, believe it or not. Now you take a moment, and if there's anything you want to say about how you are, or how you're feeling, or what that was like, or what you're taking from it, if there's anything you want to say, you're the expert, and if you want to just sit there and just sit, that's fine too.
What?
I'm sorry, is there anything else you want to share or ask or anything?
No.
Should we turn to your mom? Is Elisa gone?
Yeah, Elisa had to step out.
Yeah, I know.
But,
is there anything you want to say, Tiffany? Anything at all?
well, what I love is that your practice takes you into you and just follows the body sensations and the images and the experiences that are coming up from within, and it's been really interesting to watch, and I'm very proud of Daniel for going through this and for sharing it, even if it doesn't make sense to maybe to us. It makes sense to Daniel. And
Well, actually, if you listen to some of this story, it may make more sense if you listen like with a third ear to what the themes are in the story. Like if I read this story back to you and you said, let's suppose someone is really trying to tell us something that's going to end up with, what would happen if it's okay not to be normal? And in fact, in my situation, being normal isn't a good thing. And if you listen to this whole story, which I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to take you through all of it, because the only problem with that is it's going to take a little while.
But we could break this into two parts if we want to share. If you feel like it's worth sharing, we can. I'm sure Elisa's crew would love to hear behind the your thoughts about it. But if not, that's fine too.
I'm going to muscle test it. I don't know, because we also have another piece that he has to do that I have a feeling is going to be more of the piece once he knows that being normal isn't a good thing. I'll just say, I think that story is more of his personal story. I think the next one, I think he really, what I would say to you guys is, I think there are some people in this world that come on to try to help the world heal and to take on the pain of the world. And like, if they do that, but they lived in another story where they tried to do that and it didn't work out so good, then they get to try again and see if they can do it with a sense of equanimity. And,
Well, I will say that often Daniel, when he's upset about the FOP and the flare, and you tell me if I'm not saying it right, but he'll often say, I just want to be normal.
Mm-hmm.
So to have this experience teach him that that's not what he came here for, and to be okay with it. I think that's a whole huge insight that it's going to take some getting used to, right?
Well, Daniel, is there anything more you want to say about being normal is not a good thing, or you want to just leave it alone? You tell us.
There is nothing else, no.
Okay. Great. Let me see if there's anything more I want to say, because there's really, there's a lot in your story about ending up with what makes being normal not such a good thing, and what you're doing to do something that isn't so normal, which is just more extraordinary. You could say it's not ordinary, it's not normal, and that's for you. So if you really have got that, which I sense you have, I think worlds might open up for you a little bit, which would be a beautiful thing. And that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to see if we're out. All right, what I want to do is, with deepest wisdom, highest guidance sources, there's nothing else. Is that true? Shall I share anything else now? Well, here's what I'd say. We've just been doing that for an hour and 20 minutes. We've probably gone long enough for now. So you have the whole thing on tape. So what you might want to do is just listen. Like you're listening to something that is really metaphoric. Like it's like listening to a dream. And when you listen to a dream, it's like you have to become the priestess that you guys are that knows how to be with the dream. Because it's like listening to a dream, and it's like souls trying to tell us something through images. And you don't need to know what it is for the healing to work, but I'll tell you what I think. I have a feeling the one thing you can count on right now is your stomach was hurting when you started and it's not hurting now. So something has to be different, because you didn't take one of those pills that like is a stomach reliever, right? So something's different. All you know is something's different in your body. And why don't you hang out with what happens in your life if you know that being normal is not necessarily a good thing for you? And that being extraordinary is a good thing for you. It's like, it's just it's your path. And it really is your path. Now, that's what I would pay attention to. So I'm just going to be grateful for working with you and for being grateful for the energies that are here. And I want to thank them. And if there's any final words you want to say at all, because it's your healing, if there's anything else at all, take a moment and just check. And if there isn't, we'll just say, we're really grateful to you.
No.
Well, then I want to thank you. I think you gave us more of a gift than we may have given you. But if it helps you when you're suffering, then that makes me feel very, very grateful. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Andy. Tell us how we can find you.
How you can find me?
Yep, just your website, how people can find you to learn more.
I can do that. Thank you very much. My website is lifecenteredtherapy.com. And we just have gone live, so that's a good thing. So we're still getting out our bugs, but that's how you can find us. And you can find us for training, and you can find us for healing. And we're all going to do this together.
Yeah, and what you just did was a life-centered therapy session, right? That's what we just completed.
It was a life-centered therapy session. Let's say it was not such a normal one.
No, a little extraordinary, maybe.
A little extraordinary, but it comes with the territory. If being normal isn't a good thing, then being sort of an extraordinary process is a good thing. So thank you for asking that, Tiffany, and it's been a pleasure. And it's a pleasure seeing the two of you together. I mean, and the amount of care, it touches my heart a lot.
He is my pleasure, and thank you so much. Elisa had to step out, so I'll just say thank you, and hopefully you'll be coming to Houston soon, and people who are here in the area can come and do this live with you, one-on-one.
Well, they won't be able to do it live with me one-on-one. We're trying to figure out if we can do this because our schedule is kind of interesting. Okay. But hopefully we're trying to plan all this out. But I think so. But they won't be doing it with me one-on-one. I'm going to teach you guys how to do it.
I got it. Okay.
So, if we come down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you a very simple version of what I do, because, we originally called this guided self-healing. And, it means we teach people how to guide it, but we also teach people how to do it for themselves and for their families. And we can teach you a pretty simple version, but, we can teach you that. It's one of those things that you can learn it very fast. But you could I've been doing it now for 25 years and I'm still learning along. So, but if you don't know it exists, learning just a few basic things, like your body, there's a deep wisdom in you that knows. And if you focus on body sensations, they'll reveal something to you. And there's a part of you that just knows what has to happen to heal. And if you just know that much, then you're a lot further along than most people. That's what I'd say.
Well, and they always, we always hear that expression that you have all your own answers, but sometimes it's asking the question. So I loved how you were just asking question after question and feeling your own response, in particular in Daniel's focus. And that led you and that led Daniel to have this experience. It's just by asking lots of questions of your own energy. So all, like you said, the hurt stomach is kind of trying to give you a message. And say, what is it?
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, that's really true. I mean, you're really wise about it, because if you can ask the right questions, I mean, if you have a sense of, it's simple in one way. What do you really want to work on? And in this case, you need to know what the universal theme is, and, what's the sensation and where did it originate? And then you go on a journey. And then if you have to do something like this, you do something while you just hold the sensation. So it's over and over and over again. What are you working on? You have to find some theme that gives you a clue. Then you prepare by finding out where you're stuck and what has to happen when you get there. Then you just become the sensation. And then you just, whatever happens next is someone else is sharing. And then if they need something, they tell us. And then if you do it, you see if the body sensation changes, and if it does, something's different. And then you wait and see how it changes your life. And that's a simple version of what we do. So now you know.
Well, thank you. I can see where it takes a lot of courage in the beginning to go into the pain and into the discomfort, because we're sort of programmed to get rid of it or take a pill or, wish it away. So, but being guided by somebody, especially the first session or first multiple sessions to kind of go into it, that's really exciting, the healing that's available.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're really right. I mean, what I'd say to people is whenever there's any kind of discomfort, before you say, I hate you, it's like saying, I hate a part of myself that's just saying, I'm here. And all I want is become aware of me and allow me and bring your attention to me and just say yes. And then it might go away a lot better because then you're transforming it in the template itself. And like it's working kind of from my point of view on a level that can transform the physical. Now, some things are very hard to transform in the physical for sure, and if you're turning, muscle into bone, that's a very hard thing to transform just by transforming, even if you transform the template, because it kind of takes on a life of its own. So we'll see.
Well, we're very grateful.
Thank you.
Thank you. I feel like I got as much of a gift for sure, at least. And I think everybody else, does too. So thank you. And we will see you
Giving you a
again.
big hug when you're in Houston, hopefully soon.
Yeah, thank
Okay.
And
Bye.
if anybody wants to follow Daniel's story, his website is daniels-den.com. And we just post updates of things that he's doing, and just a way for people who are interested to follow his healing journey.
Thank you for sharing that.
And his accomplishments, yeah.
We're very wise about knowing what the right things to say are. So it's good to be a team.
Right.
You
Thank
bring
you
up good
so
things.
much, Andy. Thank you.
Okay. I'll see you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. We'll see you soon.
You got it. Bye-bye.